Good afternoon to you. I'm Danilo Evangelista, and welcome to our tropical weather outlook for October 19th, 2025. On today's tropical weather outlook, we're going to talk about 98L, which is at a high chances of development as it is moving through the Caribbean islands today. And it's looking more and more likely that this will become our next named storm of the Atlantic Basin. Let's start off by looking at the National Hurricane Center to see the latest on what they have for 98L. And as of the 2 o'clock advisory, they do say 70% chance of development now. So again, red or cherry or apple, as some might use one, representing an emoji for red. But yes, we are now at a red high chance for development with 98L. They say in their Outlook text, recent satellite wind data and surface observations indicate that the tropical wave currently crossing the Windward Islands still lacks a closed circulation. However, both radar and satellite images indicate that the associated shower and thunderstorm activity is starting to show signs of organization. The system is still moving quickly westward at 20 to 25 miles per hour, which could limit development over the next day or so. But environmental conditions are forecast to become favorable as it slows down in the Caribbean, the Central Caribbean to be specific, by the middle of the week. And then a tropical depression is likely to form by the middle to latter portion of this week in the Central Caribbean Sea, regardless of development. And this is the very important part, especially if you are in the Windward Islands today. And right now, you will be dealing with heavy rainfall and gusty winds, which are enough to impact your weather and obviously cause a disturbance to your plans. And you don't need a tropical system to bring heavy rainfall and gusty winds, or a fully tropical system, fully developed, I should say, because this is, a wave that's moving through the islands, and that counts as a tropical system. But you get what I mean. A fully developed tropical storm with a name. You don't need that to bring gusty winds and heavy rainfall. That is impactful. And if you are in the Windward Islands, you are certainly dealing with that right now. But obviously, in terms of full development and this actually becoming a named tropical storm, we're going to have to watch here as this will continue to progress into the Caribbean. And now, as of 2 p.m. today, from the latest tropical weather bulletin from the National Hurricane Center, it's looking increasingly likely that this will be the case as we head into the next week. Here's a satellite image of 98L right now as it is moving through the islands, bringing quite a bit of convective activity here through the Windward Islands today. Barbados being affected, and pretty much all of these central and southern Caribbean islands. Definitely know as well that Trinidad and Tobago is on the southern end, and there's even a few showers and thunderstorms occurring here in portions of the northern coast of South America. I believe the country here is Venezuela. And you can see the organization on satellite as well with 98L looking pretty good. There's already some of that outflow that's happening here on the upper levels. So that's definitely a sign that the system is healthy. And there's definitely, if you look at the satellite here, there's definitely some sort of broad turning, definitely a low-level center building. And the organization is continuing with 98L. Obviously not a fully tropical system yet, but it's got that look. It's got that potent look that sometimes I see with these tropical waves, that you just know that they are the precursor of a developing tropical system. I'll tell you right now, it definitely has that look of a vigorous wave that has potential to develop. And one really good way to represent that, as I've said before, look at the 850 millibar vorticity. This is from the University of Wisconsin. If you are curious as to where this comes from, and I love using this map to show the organization of storms, because the vorticity is a great way to represent that. It's a great way to take a look at the energy that systems have, especially tropical waves, as we're tracking them and seeing how they're organizing. And you can see here with the wave, again, moving through the Caribbean islands right now, definitely has a look of organization to it. Definitely some potent vorticity values in here. Obviously not potent like we have here, or not as potent as what you would see if this is a fully developed tropical storm or even hurricane, because usually once that happens, the vorticity values start getting towards the high end of the scale. And especially usually when this becomes a hurricane or even a major hurricane, we usually see vorticity readings off the chart. But it definitely has that look of, a storm that is organizing, also has a more rounded look to it, and it's probably only going to continue to organize. And I will tell you this right now, I do believe that this is more than likely potentially going to be our next tropical storm here, at least in the Atlantic, because I say at least because I show you now the model intensity guidance of the latest models with 98L here. And as I said yesterday, obviously, we didn't have as many intensity models yesterday because 98L just formed, so not a lot of models ran yet. But I said that there would be more today, and obviously, we now have more. We do indeed have more model intensity plots today for 98L, and one of them, including the H-Wharf model. And notice here what the H-Wharf does, brings this all the way into category 2 intensity. And we even have the ship's data here, and I'm actually going to show you the ships itself in a little bit. They also have category 2 intensity, and quite a number of models, especially important models, or models that you would look at with pretty high credibility. A lot of them do indeed have this developing, and at least this being a tropical storm. And you even again see a lot of these models here indicating hurricane strength. And I've said this before, I think this is a sign that there is quite a bit of potential with 98L. I mean, this is going to move into the Caribbean, and that segues perfectly into the track guidance for 98L. Again, it's going to move into the Caribbean, very likely potentially move into the Central and Western Caribbean, although to be completely honest with you, the entire Caribbean is very, very warm. I've been going over the maps for the last several days, if not weeks. Sea surface temperatures have been completely untouched in the Caribbean for the entire season. So this is going to have a lot of untapped potential to work with. And I think this does have pretty high potential. But obviously this will move into the Caribbean, and then the track is going to get a little bit fuzzy, especially once this gets into the Central Caribbean, and that'll also probably have an impact to some extent on its intensity as well, because I'd imagine that, especially if this is able to get into the Western Caribbean, where the sea surface temperatures are, usually the warmest, and the upper ocean heat content is also, the highest as well. This will probably be able to rapidly intensify quite a bit. And maybe this has major hurricane potential, although I would still say that that is the case here in the Central Caribbean, but I guess it's more just a matter of it'll have more time. But the track, honestly, either way, this has quite a bit of potential, and really, the entire Caribbean, honestly, ranging anywhere from Hispaniola, Jamaica, Cuba, and even the Yucatan here, even the Bahamas, and honestly, even the southeastern United States, should keep an eye out on this now. I'm not saying that there is a potential for a landfall definitively from 98L, because obviously you see all these tracks here, they go at most out to 120 to 168 hours, and they're all still in the Caribbean, so any impacts beyond the Central and Northern Caribbean, especially to the Bahamas and definitely the United States, that's definitely going to be well beyond the 7-day, even 10-day time frame. So you really cannot speculate that on that specifically. But we're gonna have to keep a very close eye on things here in the Caribbean with 98L. And just to also show you with the potential, this is the ship's output for 98L. And this will also update as well throughout the coming days. But a few things I want to show you. Number one, rapid intensification probabilities. And you may say that the chances are low, especially that this goes out to 72 hours. The highest we have on here is 22%. But notice, especially as we start getting towards these other potentials here, especially as time starts to grow, as we go from 24, then 36 hours, then 48 hours, then 72 hours, the rapid intensification probability does begin to go up. The most development that occurs with 98L is really going to happen, and you even can read it as well in the National Hurricane Center Tropical Weather Outlook. The most development that really happens is towards the middle to latter portion of next week. And that is also once we start getting toward that time, that's also when the rapid intensification probabilities go up here. So very interesting thing to note. And then also the environment information. One thing I want to point to you, this green line here represents mid-level relative humidity, so the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere. And for pretty much the entire duration of the ship's data here, relative humidity is very high. And we know that the Caribbean is a very, moist place. It's not like we are talking about a wave in the central eastern Atlantic, especially in like the month of July or even early August, where there's still dry air and stuff like that. This is the Caribbean in October. This will definitely have a lot of moisture. Shear will also be very low. Look at the shear values here. Well below 20 knots, especially as we get towards 4 to 5 days out, so roughly mid to latter portion of next week. And then most importantly, the intensity here, it goes up, and the highest intensity looks like it does reach, and actually the intensity graph is on this side. What's the highest intensity it reaches? Category 2. And obviously it could be higher than that. It could be lower than that. We don't want to dwell on the specific intensity, but I think it goes to show the potential that is there for 98L. And then really quickly to close out, I want to show you the GFS model. And it does develop this, and I would say the GFS probably develops this quicker than what most other models have it, but we see development, especially as this starts getting in towards the Central Caribbean. And then already by the time we get towards the end of next week, the GFS has a hurricane, slams into Hispaniola, and then stalls out here as we get towards day 7. That would probably be devastating for rainfall for the island of Hispaniola, especially for both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. That will probably result in quite a few deaths and definitely not a good situation. So hopefully this is not what happens. But the GFS, one of the major global models, showing development and showing development pretty rapidly. So we will have to watch 98L very closely over this upcoming week. And we will see what happens. The potential is definitely there. This is October in the Caribbean. And we know that things can ramp up pretty quickly. It is pretty much still prime season right now, especially in the Caribbean in October. Some of our strongest storms have happened in the Atlantic, in the Caribbean in October, like Hurricane Wilma. And I know Wilma might be a little bit of an extreme case, but still just proves that the Caribbean is very, very favorable, especially this year. And there's a lot of heat potential that is untapped. And it now has a high chance of development, although I think if you are somebody who especially, tracks and has experience in tracking, you knew that the chance for development was always going to be very high, especially with 98L. But it's looking more and more likely by the day that this will become our next storm. So we will be keeping a very close eye on it throughout this upcoming week. So if you want to, do this with me and keep an eye out with me throughout this upcoming week, and you've not already done so, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you can get the videos, all of my videos, and even any live streams that I might do, which may or may not happen. We'll see what happens, although I kind of have a feeling that I might need to do a live stream on this eventually, although probably will not be within the next 2 or 3 days. But still, I might do one eventually, so keep in mind with that. And if you want to get the notification the moment it happens, turn on the notification bell if you decide to subscribe, which I hope you do. And also like this video as well and comment your thoughts and questions. And especially, I would really encourage you share this video with family and friends, especially if you have anybody or you yourself might be in the Caribbean. Uh, Share this video. Let people know of what we need to be watching here over the next upcoming week. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of the close to the weekend. If you are a believer, hope you have a blessed Sunday. And even if not, I hope you have a blessed Sunday as well. Stay safe. Peace, love, and kindness to you all. I'll be back with more tomorrow and definitely throughout the upcoming week.